Hello, welcome to the TV room. David Bradley here. Okay, so I have a Commodore 64 here. I have opened it up. It looks that everything is there. There was a power supply that came with it. Now, am I just going to willy-nilly plug that in and hope that it's okay after all these years? No, I'm not. Not at all. But I have here a one of beautiful creation made by Rudy. Rudy's Retro Intel. Note, it even has a Commodore logo on the back. And it is to test power supplies for the Commodore 64. And it only tests the 5-volt side, but that's the side, the killer side. If it goes low, it doesn't matter. If it goes high, and it can go real high, it's bad. And that means the machine can be ruined. The 9-volt side, from what I found, if it goes bad, you turn the machine on, it makes a bad noise, and you quickly say, oh, don't do that. You turn it off, and that's the end of that. Anyway, I will plug this in and see what the reading is. And it says, if I can get that over there, it says 5.14 volts. That is well within acceptable parameters. So that is good. Now, does the 9-volt side work? Well, I don't know. I'm just checking make sure the power switch is off. And then I already have this 1702 connected to power, and I put the cable on. And it's real easy, if you have the Commodore cable, which this is, to connect it, because if the colors match, you got it right. So, here is the moment of truth. I will turn the monitor on, let it warm up. I've also, I made sure that I have selected the rear input, because you can enter in front or enter in rear. Or sorry, you can have the input in front or in the back. And if you're using separate chroma and luma, it's best. And that is, so the monitor is on, it should be warmed. So we will apply power through this power supply. Now, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the volume up. Because if I suddenly hear a horrible kind of a noise there, and I don't see anything on the screen, I will quickly turn it off. That sounds good. Aha, okay. We have a bit of a rolling issue here. Now, I was tinkering with this monitor. There we go. Because I had it connected to the pet companion, and sometimes a little adjustment is required. But that is looking mighty encouraging. It is. Now, let's see. If I go over here, I'm going to have to stand up to do this. I think over here, I would like to think over here, but somewhere, oh, I should have the Diagnostic Harness. There's a bag of eggs. That's always handy. I thought I had. Oh dear. This is not going well. I'm almost knocking things over. But I really thought that I had the Diagnostic Harness in a bag for the Commodore 64. I thought I did. What is that? But it does not seem to be here. Just a moment. It may be that see, over here, I have, well, lots of things, including, but not limited to, a whole bunch of disk drives and a whole bunch of 64s that, aha, okay, that's one that I was testing, aha, there we go, testing the, oh, what's the name of that thing? I just had it. It was right in front of me. Oh, the VIC switch. I was connecting up 8 computers and disk drives and things and stuff. All right, I have here 2 cartridge rigs, but I'm going to try the one at this moment. There we go. I'll turn that off. Oh dear. Oh dear. Sorry about that. I'm going to try the one here from RetroRewind. What is that for? Oh no. If I say oh no, it means an uncontrollable sneeze is about to happen. And I don't really have time to say anything except, oh no. All right, so start by putting on the keyboard connector. Okay. And then we will move on. There are a number of connections that need to be made. There are. Okay, so. Oh, by the way, if you see this thing, and you are fond of it, because it is quite handy, the people of RetroRewind will be at the World of Commodore on this November the 30th and December the 1st at the user port. At the Admiral Inn in Mississauga, Ontario. Okay. Push that on. That goes into the user port. This goes into the cassette port. I forget what this is for. No. Oh, maybe it goes over. Yeah. It goes over the other. It doesn't need to be on there, but anyway, it's there. This thing goes in to the serial port next to the video port. Oh. Okay. Then we have the joystick connectors. Control 2. And Control 1. And then the magic cartridge. And we want this on Diagnostics. We do. Now, the machine is off. Always make sure. Never put a cartridge in a machine that is turned on. All right, it's time. Power is on. Usually there's a bit of a pause. This is perhaps too much of a pause. All right, let's try this again. We'll flip the switch. We're still on diagnostic. We'll flip it to number 1. All right. Nothing is coming up. Let me just double check something here. Let me just try that again. Aha. It is possible, and perhaps even likely, that I had the joystick ports reversed. I will trace them carefully. Control port 2. Yes. Well, I don't actually. I'm not sure. I think I had them in right. But let's just see. Maybe that could also mean if something doesn't come up. Ah. Interesting. They are definitely in the correct ports as they were before, but the diagnostic is not coming up. So I'm going to take the switch, flip it to dead test, see what comes up. This would, at this moment, point to, and nothing is coming up. Oh, there we are. This would point to perhaps a bad 6526 chip. They are not socketed, of course. Let's just see what we see. And turn the sound down a bit because the SID chip, well, it can sing. It can, I might just also turn down the brightness on the screen. All right. So it is running through its testing. It is. I wonder. I should double check every connection. I should. Because it did power on okay, but just because a machine comes up and looks okay, it doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't. And it could, in fact, mean that the ports on this machine look like they have had ample opportunity to build up micro corrosion. Okay, well that seemed happy. Let's flip this. We're now in the dead test. We'll flip it to the other one, or whatever this other thing is, and we'll see what comes up. Okay. Very good. And yes, as I look at the connectors, I see that they they're not terrible. They don't look like they've been used a whole bunch, but they certainly don't look shiny. So here is the weapon that we would use, a pencil eraser. But let's just let this run through this. There are 4 tests in this cartridge. There are, so yes, remember, RetroRewind.CA. So let's see what we have. Certainly from the sounds of it, the SID chip is functioning. From the keyboard, yeah, it's got an LED on it, it's lit up. There we go. Yep, that's a good. Okay, we're going to turn this off. We're going to switch back to Diagnostics. And with everything plugged in, we're going to turn this on and see what happens. Certainly the cartridge is making good connection. But at this moment, because of course it worked on the other things, but at this moment, nothing is presenting itself on the screen. And I think we've waited long enough for that. So I will flip the switch, make sure the cartridge is well seated, turn it on. Oh, now this one's coming up. Maybe the cartridge needed to be reseated. See, once again, this micro corrosion, and remember, probably nothing has been plugged into this thing in a long time. Maybe just that little wiggle got it resolved. Maybe, possibly. I'm not so sure. But so far, things are reading rightly. They are. No errors have been brought up. Control port bad. Yeah. Oh, 6581. Well, it does in fact say that the 65, one of them, 6526 chip is bad. That is not surprising. Let's see if after that little wiggle, if this side of the diagnostic equation comes up. I'll leave it sitting a while longer and see if it wakes up. But this could very much be related to that 6526 chip. It could be. And it is not coming up, but as I seem to remember, the last time I did this, I did unplug the keyboard things. Not the keyboard thing, the joystick things, and then things came up. But that didn't do anything. It is much the same. So I will unplug the other joystick connector. And I'll turn it on. And it is not happening. Which I thought it did before. Well, I'm going to tweak the cartridge a little bit more. Just see what's what. Try again. Oh, okay. Now that has come up. Okay, this is much more testing stuff. So perhaps indeed the cartridge port is in need of some attention. Let's try that again. All right. That did not. I'll wiggle this a bit. Okay. So yes, I think the cartridge port and these other ports need some. Now, it is hard, indeed, very hard, to clean the cartridge port. These other ports are much easier because I can take this pencil eraser and rub them. Okay, it's saying the 6581 is bad. But it certainly sounds good. Okay, we're going to shut this off for a second, and we're going to pull out the user port and the data set port, and we're going to, now I can see on here, it does look like these are not nearly as shiny, and there is kind of dark deposits at the end, which is not surprising. So I take the pencil eraser, and I rub them. Yeah, they come up much shinier after. Little remember, we're not talking about big power running through these things. So it does not take much, basically, resistance to mess with things. And I guess for the cartridge port, I will think about spraying some deoxit and then working a cartridge in and out of there a little bit. Okay, so now we have cleaned the ports, and we're all plugged in. And we are not getting anything as of yet. All right, I think, indeed, I'm just going to tweak the cartridge ever so slightly. Nope. All right, I'm going to take the cartridge out. I'm working it around a bit. There, I've worked it around a bit. That sounded better. Oh, there we are. Okay, so we have the alignment check and all that. All right. Let's try this. All right, we'll see if anything comes up as bad this time after. So I should never get, even if you never write with a pencil, for example, this one has never been written with. It is a wonderful tool to work on some things on, but definitely I think deoxit is necessary. I do, and I guess, of course, it wouldn't be a bad thing to take the board right out and rub. Bad. 6581, bad. Boy, that's strange. Well, you must remember. There we go. The 6581 also does the paddle. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, just because I can and I'm here, I'm going to take the 6581, otherwise known as the SID chip, out. I'm going to inspect it. It looks okay, but also this is basically reseating it. But if there was any micro corrosion that was causing something not to read well, it gives it a chance to reset. And so it's back in. Alright, I really think it's the cartridge port that needs cleaning, because that just came up fine. So I'll wiggle it a bit, make sure that the switches are okay. There we go. Alright, the oxets. Now we'll see if it comes up with the same thing. The keyboard LED is lit up. And we will see. One thing, I know deoxide is not conductive and all that good stuff, but I think what I'm going to do is maybe if I'll open, okay, still says the 6581 is bad. But it does seem to be working. Alright. Well, I have high hopes for all of this. What I'm going to do now is disconnect. Also making sure, yes, the keyboard connector is on properly. Alright. Come on. It's good to have a nice, snug connection. Okay. Okay, come on out, cartridge. The cartridge port in this thing does seem quite snug and tight. And that is good. Come on, come on, come on out. Even just that moving the cartridge around a bit is likely to help. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm not sure how many cartridges in there. Oh dear. There is one thing out of this whole thing, why everything is tight and snug, is that I do sometimes have trouble with, is with the serial connector, and sometimes the cover pops off, and I'm not sure why. But it's back on. So, all right. So we have what appears to be a mostly working, happy Commodore 64. Now the keyboard is not attached at this time. It is not. So we'll put this back in this baggie. And let's see, this should just come up. And it does. Okay, just a moment. Oh. All right. What I'm going to do now is turn this off and disconnect it. Disconnect it. And I will gaze into the cartridge port. There is some dust in there. Alright, so now without spraying myself in the eye, I'm going to give this a nice coating of the oxide. And then I'm going to take this other cartridge and work it in and out. I am. Because, well, the deoxit will do good things on its own. A little movement is not a bad thing. All right, let's spray a little bit more. Yeah, this is all wet now. Okay, now I'm not going to plug this in right now. I'll do a little more work on the cartridge, work on the cartridge, work on the cartridge. And then I'll take it out because the cartridge is indeed now wet, and that's okay. It will dry. And the port is also wet. So while I'm here, and because I can, perhaps I will spray a little bit into the power connector and onto the joystick pins. Remember, it's all about micro corrosion. And the video port. There's a lot of dust around this machine, and indeed, I will give a quick spray to the ports that I just cleaned. Good. The nice also thing about this is you can adjust. I've never seen this on a spray can. You can adjust how much you, like how strongly you spray. I've not seen this on a spray can before. I have not. All right. So it would seem we mostly have a working Commodore 64. But it reports. Oh, you know what I might do? Because I can, and I'm here. The 6581 chip. It keeps on saying it's bad. Now, is it bad? I don't know. It sounds okay. I will give a little spritz into the socket, and then I will work the chip a bit, push it back in. I will, and then I will let it sit. I will let it kind of dry off a bit, and then I'll try some of this again, see if it has any different results. And maybe I'll take the keyboard, connect it, see if the keyboard is working, and then try to see what else is up. Perhaps. Anyway, the screws are here. What I should really do is I should reach over here because I have lots of them. I should grab a bag because I hate losing screws. I should, with great care and reverence, put all of the screws from the 64C into a bag so none are lost or mixed in with something else. Or heavens, if Penny were to come by, she might decide it's a good thing. And you know what else? I'm going to put this little bit that is not attached to a screwdriver into the bag as well, because certainly I will need it. I will need it. I'll put this over here. So we're going to let that deoxit work its magic, and we'll see what else we see later. Remember, the power. Sorry, as they say, the pen is mightier than the sword. Indeed. It's funny, there are all kinds of people in the world who are probably up to bad things, who are always fearful that someone might come along and say, "Oh, ha, ha, I will beat you up," or "I will whatever." But really, if you write down the things that they do and stuff, the pencil is mightier than the sword. The truth is out there. Bah. So I will carefully put this pencil back in here. It's funny, I'm trying not to go and get things anywhere, anytime, any place. Of course, here I am with the 64 that I just got. But if I am in a thrift store and there is some cheap bag of pencils with erasers, I will most often get it. And people say, "Oh my God, you have too many, you have too many." Well, you know what? The erasers, once they run down, then the pencils is not much good, because do I write with a pencil? Not hardly. Not often. I do not. All right. Well, I can still see wetness. Gonna let this sit. Gonna take it easy for a bit, and we'll come back and see what's what. We shall. I'm confident, somewhat confident, that the cartridge will work better and things will work better. And this is, I've only tried this on the RetroRewind.CA thing. I have another harness here. This is from way back when, I think from Commodore. Perhaps I'll try it with that too. But I do like the RetroRewind one has 4 different options, 2 dead tests and other such things in there. And it's good. Very, very good. And let's see. So, things are going to dry. I am going to maybe recharge the phone. Preserve the batteries in the on-air light, if I can. And see what's what. So thanks for coming. Have a lovely, lovely day. And we'll see you at the World of Commodore, November 30th and December 1st of 2024 at the Admiral Inn. Go to tpug.ca for details. Bye for now.